Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Chat About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters, because, I'm so woke these days. And what could be more woke than Doctor Who? Oh, wait. Oh, no, Doctor Who is always woke. That's what I've been told anyway. But a lot of people have been saying that Doctor Who is dead. Oh, dear. So I've been thinking, how can we save it? Which classic companion could potentially save Doctor Who? But I can't possibly answer that question by myself. So I've brought my friends here. We have Brendan. Hey, Brendan.
Hiya, we're on the crusade. We are here to save Doctor Who. We know the plan.
Absolutely.
We have a plan.
We have a plan. We have a plan, absolutely. But like I say, we can't do it by ourselves, though, can we? So that's why we've also got Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I make you guys look. You bring me along, and I make you guys sound a whole lot better too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, both of you, are you both ready to save Doctor Who?
That's
Are you
ambitious.
ready for it? It's ambitious, isn't it? But we can do it, right? We can do it. Well, let's have a look at who we've chosen for our companions, and then we'll see what my viewers voted. Let's bring it up on the screen. Who do we have? Hang on a minute. There we go. Who do we have first? Susan Foreman. Why Susan?
Well, excuse me. I think this is a nagging mystery. This is like a near 60-year-old mystery. We don't know. Oh gosh, I'm so glad. Like I just get. I mean, my wife watches too, but she don't get into, like, she's just a casual viewer, even though she does have a huge TARDIS tattooed on her arm. But like she doesn't always get into some of these little minutia of it. But like, okay, is it really his granddaughter or not? Okay, and then if you recall in Hell Bent, when Clara and the Doctor are trying to steal a TARDIS, he makes some thing about it wasn't, he stole, somebody stole something in the president's daughter or something like that. And to me, that made me think maybe he was referencing Susan, and like maybe we just thought, and that's been said before, she may not necessarily be his blood grandchild. We don't know for sure. In some of the books, and I think maybe the audio dramas, he's got that brother, Braxiatel or whatever his name is. The Doctor has a brother. But I mean, that's just in that. They've never mentioned him as far as I know in the actual series. But I want Susan to be revisited. I really think that we could do it as Carol Ann Ford and have her regenerate. Bam, easy. It's like the greatest story vehicle for any show ever is regeneration when it's used right, Chris.
Absolutely.
When it's used right, Chibs.
Yeah, but don't Derek Jacobi it, where he literally gets revealed as the Master, gets shot, and then regenerates.
As long as she's hale and hearty and can do it, I'd say I think she deserves it. I think she's such a beloved character that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe at the time she was seen a certain way, because as I've just recently watched those, I could see her being a little annoying. But just for the story aspect of it, I want to know: is she really his granddaughter? How are they really related? Is this just, did he go back in the history of Gallifrey and Snatcher or something? I don't know.
And if I've got this right, the reason why Carol Ann Ford left in the first place was because her character wasn't really going anywhere.
Right.
That's why she left. So it would be nice to see the character go somewhere, particularly because we know it's a potential relation of the Doctor in some respects.
The potential of that character, unfortunately, met the resistance of modern day. I think the type of character, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the great woman characters and all that had been done before, but I think that the mold that needed to be built for that sort of character that can get away with a lot more, like nowadays, it's just the right character, wrong time for us to have seen any more about her. But she's perfect for now, when everybody wants things revealed and they love learning and unpeeling a mystery. As much as I hate mystery box storytelling, and a lot of people in New Who've loved doing it, but I would love to revisit that. To me, it's one of Who's greatest mysteries. Is that really his granddaughter?
And this is when you need somebody. We said in a few shows ago whether it should be rested for a little while, because yes, I want Susan back, and for all the reasons you've just said, but I really do want this to be delicately dealt with, because
it's a deep cut. I know. A
They
deep
they
cut
can
from the
only
first
do this
Doctor. Yeah.
once. Yeah, you can only do this once. And so when they bring her back, I mean, in the Five Doctors, I wasn't really chuffed with that, to be honest. So this has to be it. And so basically, if you are bringing her back, like you say, with who is she? Well, I'm sorry, but RTD is going to have to address something else like the Timeless Children, because if the Doctor is a timeless child and not a, the Susan thing is going to throw a big problem into the works. So I hope he's factored it in, because everybody does seem to think she's coming back. But if she comes back, is she a time lady? I mean, what is she? Is she another time? I mean, you can't ignore Timeless Children and bring Susan back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we don't know. We don't know if she's a time lady, if she's a Shibogan. We don't even know if she's from the planet Gallifrey. You know what I'm saying? So we just assume a lot about Susan. That's part of the thing of the mystery, is there's so many different directions it could be coming from. But yeah, it is a deep cut if you're just trying to get. It's just like your favorite band song that nobody else heard, but you think it's the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? It's not what you want to. You don't want to introduce it to your friend and have them listen to something that's nothing.
And it's a really interesting one, because now the 15th Doctor would be meeting her, and she's not regenerated. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what has she had such a sedate life? Just being a civil servant or something, and what's happened? Why is she? You know, does she not want to? I mean, in Destiny of the Daleks, as you know, Romana just changed a lot of bodies quickly and picked aesthetically the one she liked or he liked. But why is she still Susan? Yeah, I agree on the acting potential. Unearthly Child was really where she obviously was stretched, and also that two-parter. In the TARDIS that they did soon afterwards, when she had the knife and everything. But then after that, she turned into a screamer, and as you know, she always falls over, gets her ankle twisted, that classic one. Yeah, you need to say, right, come on, give this story some gravitas. I'm just worried that the way the shooty Doctor is, and we have in you who it's all howdy, how nice to go. It's his granddaughter, if she is.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I would like to see the return of Susan at some point. But what about the return of Leela?
Oh, yes. I would like to see the return of Leela even more.
This would be an interesting one. Yeah. Go on, Brendan.
Right. Obviously, we look at the list of all the companions, and some of them are human from Earth. Some of them are alien now. Some of them are kind of tied into periods and stuff like that, and some are no longer with us. Now, in this case, Leela, as in Louise Jameson, is a top actress. I loved her in Tenko. I've loved her in Bergerac. I've loved her in. She's in Emmerdale now, but I don't see it. But she's got it. She's got it, and she's just very authentic in how she acts now, and very intelligent. And when you look at any of those stories, Talons of Wen-Chian, any of that period, I can't believe it's in the script that it tells her to do all these little touches where she acts in a different way, looks in a different way. You can see she's thinking like a savage. It's really clever what she does in the background sometimes. I mean, she says in the season 15 behind the scenes, doesn't she? She's put her foot down in Horror Fan Rock, and she made sure Tom Baker give her 1 extra second to walk because she wanted it something done a certain way. I mean, this is what you want. You want this. But the other big reason why I want Leela back is I think it will have a hell of an interesting narrative and characterization to show. She will be aged. She will be older. And I think what a story for a character and an actress to deal with, which is you were once a savage warrior, and really you were athletic and you could kill people with your physique. You can't do that when you're older. And I think it plays some very interesting things, that when she's maybe got a dynamic with a Doctor, she can't run as fast as him because he's regenerated. She's still got the same body. And you could have humor about it, a little pathos about it, that this person who was once a top warrior no longer can resort to that, and yet still might have a savage instinct. And I just think it's a beautiful choice and possibility. And also, do you know what? Picking Leela means we won't hit all the gender stuff now. We won't pick all the politics of now because she's a savage. She won't think like that. Why would she ever consider that?
She wouldn't.
Good point.
The only thing I think would have changed about Leela is her knowledge, because she gets left with
She's been on Gallifrey. Yeah.
She's been on Gallifrey, so her knowledge would have changed. She would still speak the way that she spoke in the series, but her knowledge would definitely be certainly she's very intelligent anyway, but certainly be vastly different compared to how it was when we left her there.
Mm.
So
yeah,
that
the world's changed more than Leela has. I assure you that.
yeah.
Like, I feel real strong about this one too. I mean, this was almost one of my picks. Aside from me always joking around about good-looking ladies, I mean, and she is a gorgeous one. And I just made a note to find Leela poster on eBay. I just wrote that down. So, like, this leans into all my stuff. I want more Time Lords. I want more of the lore and all that. But I really got teased with that DVD special they shot of her in the Gallifreyan garb. Because here's some of my major questions. Because, like, if you just say we're bringing Leela back, okay, cool, period. All things y'all just said. But the added benefit is, okay, was he just a Gallifreyan, or was he, or can, whatever he was, Chancellery Guard, did you have to be of a certain status to be able to be exposed to the eye or whatever they do, or born with it? I don't know. They never explain that either. Is it just something you're born with, or like, okay, just say Andred is a regenerating Time Lord level Gallifreyan. Do they have the technological ability to transform Leela, who biologically, as far as I know, is human? Like, I think they're descended from Earth humans. I don't know. Do they have the tech to have turned her into a Time Lord? I'm curious about that. Like, would that be something we find out, like, we bring back her for a few episodes or however long, and then at some point she gets hurt, thinks she's going to die, and all of a sudden we find out, something, and also, here's one last thought. I'm sure everybody will hate to hear this, but in Long Barrow, one of the last books in the New Adventures, they insinuate that somehow through some sort of chicanery, the Doctor insinuates Leela and Andrea have had a baby, and there's a little hint that maybe that baby is the Doctor, and that's how they explain the half human thing. That's not canon, but that's something for people viewing this. If you've never heard that before, look it up. It's interesting reading. But I don't want that to be the case. Don't get me wrong, man. But I mean, they could still tease or mess with that, in the show.
Well, maybe Louise Jameson will actually get the exit that she really wanted.
Yeah.
What did she want?
She wanted to die.
Yeah. I mean, and now we are where we are. An aged warrior is just a lovely storyline. I just love, end of days stuff, but you can have one last fight.
She could still be that savage inside when confronted with serious situations. Guys, you know what? If you've seen us on any of the other videos that Rachel's done, you've heard us say BBC should hire us. You know what? You don't even have to hire me. I'm an American. But these ideas, like, our ideas are better than what we're hearing coming out of BBC right now.
We are the writer's room.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, I mean that. Like, we joke about things like that. Like, you'll say, oh, gosh, we should be writing it. But no, I mean, compared to what they've been doing and just with some of the ideas, if they threw me in a writer's room with you two guys, we'd make it. We'd be all right, I think.
Try and give people what they want. Speaking of what people want, who would like Romana? Obviously, this is Mary Tam, but who would like Romana back?
Me. She's the hotter of the two Romanas for me. I know this isn't the one Tom Baker married, but I like her as Romana better, but I think she was still a fish out of water. Like, I love the thought of, I don't think you can long-term have a second Time Lord. I think it's kind of like Batman needs Robin to chill him out so he's not out here like killing criminals instead of arresting them. I think the Doctor needs that human anchor ever since was it Ian that stopped him from killing a savage. We've been on that trajectory since then. So I feel like the Doctor needs a human to balance him out. But my own selfishness, I want Romana back. And Lalla Ward's still alive. She could still regenerate into another version. That's a great trick of the Time Lords. But I mean, I just love this character. I love the dynamic between her and the Doctor. And of course, it was at its best, I feel like, in some regards, like that first season where she's such she's a highfalutin, as we would say around here. Like, she's like a highfalutin lady, and she kind of learns to get down in the dirt, and then she grows so much as a person that she actually stays behind to help people rather than go back to the stodgy environment of Gallifrey. And she's also a great vehicle as far as the show's concerned, like they've done in the books. Maybe you go back to E-Space, you find her, maybe we reintroduce the Vampire Lords or something. But I want Romana back like bad. I'll take her however I can get her.
She would be interesting because she's got the Liz Shaw problem, even in 2024, that you have somebody equal to the Doctor, which is a problem, which is mad, isn't it? But I suppose your hero, and the dynamic it needs to be thought about. But this Romana, as you said, because she was in E-Space, and I know all the other chronicles say that she's president and all the rest of it, but I'm dealing with what I've seen.
1 to 3 and all that.
Which is E-Space. Yeah,
but E-Space, she has been around. I mean, it's a bit like the Leela one, that when the Doctor meets her now, she's not going to take any rubbish from him.
No,
she has survived on her own. As you say, there's been that brilliant character arc since the original Romana when she was quite naive. But now, if you you don't want somebody who scientifically knows the same as the Doctor because that's boring. But in another way, where the dynamic would be brilliant is she would be a bit like Donna Noble, questioning everything, going, "Why are you choosing that? Why are you interfering? I really don't know why you're doing this." She could challenge why he thinks he has to interfere with everything, because basically she's been stuck in E-Space. I dare say she hasn't been interfering; she's been helping the Tharrells, hasn't she? So. I don't know. It might be interesting. I mean, to bring her back now, she will be a different character. And
absolutely.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, okay. Just talking about the audio dramas, just like quickly. I know, Brandon, you haven't listened to perhaps her stories where she comes back.
Oh, I don't. Spoilers don't bother me at all.
But her. No, okay. That's fine then. But her, how did that do that? Her personality is they kind of play off of that a little bit. It is a little bit different to how you actually see her in the TV series. There's a bit more directness, a bit more bluntness, a bit more, even some arrogance, I would say, as to her presentation in the audio dramas. I do actually find her a little bit more arrogant in that compared to how she was in the TV series.
Yeah, so her, like she kind of grows on you as she sticks around in the show, and that's what I want. I don't want to dislike her, you know what I mean? So
yeah. But they play off the fact that it's E-Space, and obviously what happens to her with I won't spoil it for you, but what happens to her, and she just becomes a bit more hardened, I think, as well.
Oh, okay.
And she certainly questions the Doctor, that's for sure. Yeah. Without hesitation. Yeah. So she could
like
be
to see her
back. Yeah. I mean, my favorite version is obviously, for me, preferably the Mary Tam version, but but the next one is my choice. Vizor Turlough. Now, this is going back to pretty much what I said on the Senssphere on your stream, Brendan, because I think when you first meet Vizor Turlough, they don't do it how they used to do it. You didn't know that he was going to be a companion, right? You didn't know that. Have I got that right? Okay, so back when they didn't announce that the companions were going to be companions, this one was when you introduced the first major threat into the TARDIS as a companion, and that's scary. And Turlough is a coward, so that makes him even scarier. And I like that dynamic. I like that dynamic, that threat in the TARDIS, and having that coward in the TARDIS who at any given moment could actually betray the Doctor, but the Doctor won't actually know that it's happening, and he just doesn't know that it's there. And I'd like to bring him back for that element, for that aspect, that level of control. Obviously, been done sort of before, but just for that one potential moment.
But it's even more interesting. I mean, I have to say, with Mawdryn Undead and that kind of trilogy, then the sad thing was, why would the Black Guardian pick a schoolboy to be a mad assassin? I mean, Yeah, it's mad. However, we know that Mark Strickson, is he 60 now or something like that?
Oh, he must be, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was his birthday the other day. So you think, right, well, he'd be interesting now. And that's what I mean. Sometimes I think the older characters are much more interesting because they've lived. And yes, of course, the Doctor would now trust him. And that's the most dangerous time, isn't it? And yes, his weak spot is always going to be there. So yes, the trait is there. And somebody could tap him up, so to speak, couldn't they?
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be the Guardian. Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. Like I said, he's the better version of Adric. And that's no sneer at Matthew Waterhouse, because I think Matthew Waterhouse did what, well, I'll get into that on your channel on Sunday, but that would have already been released by that point, so it doesn't matter. But you know, yeah, I just think he's got a lot more potential compared to Adric, who just sort of got forgotten about and sidelined. I think he's dangerous.
Can I just ask you, while we're mentioning saving Doctor Who and bringing back a companion, do we all agree, bring one back? Let's not have 3 or 2, you know, let's focus on their characterization. Let's really make this happen.
Preferably 1. You could talk me into 2, but I'm not going any higher than 2.
1,
yeah.
I think 1 is suffice. I mean,
start with 1 at least.
Yeah. Sarah Jane was a great companion to bring back, because everyone likes Sarah Jane. I don't think I've ever met someone who didn't like Sarah Jane.
Great. I feel so sad that she passed away. Like, she would have been a part of Doctor Who, I think, for the rest of her life. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I believe her daughter is the one that does her voice in the audio dramas.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, when Turlough came into the series the first time I watched it, it was like an exciting, scary element, because you're like, he plays that character very well. I'm a little upset by the negative ginger representation.
Exactly.
I'm a quarter ginger on my mother's side, you know.
We need the redheads back. Redheads are awesome.
Yeah,
I love redheads.
But I liked his character. I like the fact that what you mentioned was he's in the TARDIS. He's in the crew, in the group. So that added an extra element of anxiety. I was like, he's real anxiety inducing to the show, but in a good way. And all told, I mean, I feel like they had a decent enough arc. But yeah, those qualities that he had, I feel like even as an adult, they went back and picked him up, or somebody like the Master could kidnap his family and use them. I feel like he could probably still be manipulated like he was.
Absolutely. I feel like he could.
And I listened to Phantasmagoria with him, an audio, when it was okay.
That's good.
It's interesting that neither of us have said Chameleon or K9.
Poor Chameleon.
Well, K9's got a ramp now.
Yeah, K9.
Yeah, he's ready.
He's got access to the TARDIS. So he's
I'm really surprised K9 hasn't been on the show regularly yet, because
I actually like K9.
I mean, I do too. I just feel like I don't like him on every adventure, but I do kind of like that character, and I like the fact sometimes they could use him. Like, I mean, they used him as a Deus Ex Machina a lot to get them out of a lot of situations, because he's just popping up, stunning everybody, you know. But nowadays, with the abilities that they have with effects and things, and the fact that, and I'm sure they were thinking the same thing to some degree back in the day, but he's real toyetic or whatever he's real marketable. So I'm surprised we haven't seen him more in New Who.
I didn't watch the Sarah Jane Adventures, but I feel like
Neither
he was in that. Was he in that? He was in that. I'm sure he was.
I believe. Wasn't he with them when all that big crossover stuff with the Master? I don't remember, but I think so. But I never watched Sarah Jane Adventures.
But you know what? I mean, I was joking about Chameleon, except when you actually think about it, with the budget nowadays, Chameleon wouldn't be Chameleon. It would be maybe a very, very interesting device.
Oh yeah,
something high tech.
I liked the concept of that in the original show, and they could probably do a lot with that now. And I liked Chameleon. He was very kind of torn, and torn against his programming or whatever. So I did like elements of that, but it would lend itself well to modern day for sure.
And it would link to your point, Rachel, about Turlough, because Turlough we know we can't trust, and Chameleon we can't trust. It's a weak, it's a shapeshifter, and whoever's will is more powerful. Turlo and Chameleon combo.
Could be. Question is, could we get Mark Strickland back? He's a very busy man. He does a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he in a lot of stuff over there with y'all? Like in
He
your
does
country?
a lot of he's done a fair bit of narration or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
he does traveling and stuff.
He does have a very unique voice too. So
he does, yeah. Okay, so that's our decision. What is our poll decision? Which classic companion could save Doctor Who? 28% Susan Foreman, 61% Romana, 0% for Harry Sullivan.
R.I.P. And I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
for the disrespect.
11% for Visor Turlo. What do we think?
I'm surprised, really, that Susan. She's the talk of everybody at the moment, isn't she? Really, and maybe everybody's got the same inkling that we want her back, but we also have fears that it could be spoiled. So Romana less so. So maybe that's the thinking behind it. I don't know.
Well, and there again, maybe it shines a light on something that you've kind of done, where you're talking about how the things that we think as people who get into the lore of it and discuss it all the time, like the things that would pop, I'm using a wrestling term, but the things that make us cheer and say, would not necessarily be all that great for somebody who, because I mean, what you need new viewers, you need more people. You know what I'm saying? So I see now what you're talking about is like, if you go too deep into the lore out of the gate, you need to set that stuff up a lot better. Maybe have a POV character through your human, getting them up to speed on all this lore, kind of like they do through Rose and other people. But yeah, I feel like now what you're saying is you'd have to be very careful. And I think you do need to start small and make sure you can do this before you do that.
Well, just like we said about the agenda stuff nowadays, the three there that are chosen wouldn't be aware of all that stuff, would they? So
no, but I fear what a writer would. I mean, like I wouldn't want, like, Romana was a great girl boss, like, for the time period, but like I do acknowledge the fact that nowadays, even if Romana just was Romana, people would probably say, oh, well, she's trying to be like a Mary Sue or all this other stuff. But like I know people are sometimes people get overly triggered by that stuff because we're on the lookout for it so much. But I feel like she's a good version of that sort of thing, like a strong, independent lady who gets things done, not kind of like the fake kind that they push on us so much. So if they didn't screw with her too much and try to make her a message vehicle, I think she'd be a good character.
Brandon, isn't it interesting that when we talk about bringing Susan back or Romana back, nobody's saying as a man? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean? No. I didn't even think about that, dude. Damn.
But
I was in a good mood too.
They want to say,
think about
they want to see Susan. They want to see Romana. These are the characters that people are missing. They even missed her, though. Not so much Harry, but I put Harry in there because I thought sometimes he was a bit sort of underutilized. Don't mind, actually. But he's also an intelligent character. I think the 3 out of the 4 definitely with the smarts there, aren't they? So they could match the Doctor.
Oh yeah.
Turlo not so much. Turlo's more dangerous, as we just talked about. But yeah, well, there you have it. They want my viewers have spoken. They would like to see Romana back. I think a very good choice.
I'd like to see it too, please. But
to be honest,
it doesn't turn out to be like Mrs. Flood or something.
Out of these 4, actually, I would have been happy for any of those to come back. In actual fact, out of all the ones that the viewers have chosen, I would have been happy. I'd be happy, actually, overall, for any of the characters that we have discussed to come back in some way, shape, or form. But the question is, do they agree with us? Do our viewers agree with us at this present moment in time? Do you agree that it should be Romana or somebody else? Or if not, leave your comment below and perhaps say why, and maybe I'll get back to you in the responses. Wow, there you go. There you have it. We have chosen our villains, our companions, and our aliens. What do you think of that?
That was fun. I had a good time talking about it. I always like it because it makes me think about things I wasn't thinking about before. But I still think we need a job writing the show because we do it better now.
And when we've watched all 8 episodes, we will see this have played out, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm okay with finding out. Like I know some people just say, forget it. I'm not even. I'm like, man, I'm so invested. Like as a fan of Doctor Who, I just want to see. Like I want to see. Give it a chance for one thing because I want it to be good. But
Yeah.
I
Do you know what?
suppose I'll be screaming the loudest about the things I don't like too.
Do you know what we've proven over these 3 shows? We've proven that actually, if you really do want to save Doctor Who, there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, it
Absolutely.
can be done. It's not an unobtainable, or it's not unreachable. It could definitely be done.
Oh,
Time
absolutely.
travel, things like that. The toy maker, these celestial beings. I mean, even just the time travel element alone, comics have exploited it to death. But it's a great vehicle for fixing story or writing mistakes you've done. So they've got the capability.
One of the things that I actually look forward to the most with regards to the specials was not the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate. It was the return of the toy maker, because we'd only
Same.
seen
Me
him
too.
in one story.
Mm.
And that one is lost. They're currently in the process of animating it, aren't they? So
Yeah, they just delayed it, didn't they?
yeah, they had to delay it for whatever reason, and that's fine. That they need to do what they need to do to make it look as great as they can. I know some people have been criticizing the animation. I did was like, what the hell? But at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing it and actually seeing
Yeah,
it
I'll
in
probably end up
full
getting it for
I've not seen
sure.
it.
I want that story.
Yeah.
I've ordered it. I think it gets away with it. I know there's arguments about animation, but this one, the animation fits the surreal quality. I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely. But yeah, there's so much that you can do with the toy maker. So I was very much excited for the return of the toy maker, and like just to hear that either the villains or the heroes or the aliens that we've talked about could actually potentially come back.
Right.
That
Oh,
You know,
Starbeast.
that would
Starbeast got me
definitely get
so
me
excited because I'm such a fan of those comics from, well, it was Doctor Who Weekly, I think at the time that it became, the monthly magazine. But like I was
Yeah.
such a big fan of those stories, the Dave Gibbons drawn ones, especially of the Fourth Doctor. So when I saw Starbeast, I'm like, I got one of the comics right there. There's the Starbeast. But like I remember going to my wife and showing her, like, hey, maybe RTD isn't going to screw this up.
Well, the show that you could have devised here, Rachel, is ask a question about every monster or villain you bring back. Which song would you like to associate with them? So spice up your life for Toy Maker. We've got Rasputin for the Master. I mean, you could really look at.
You could play devil's advocate for that. Absolutely.
Because that's how RTD thinks, isn't it? What song can I play?
What song? Well, we've got the Beatles episode coming up, so.
Yeah,
we
see.
can't have Beatles songs, but what song could we have? Monkeys?
We can pilfer you guys the people for a few $1 billion to fund BBC, but they can't fund a few Beatles songs. It's just so whatever.
Well, somebody was joking saying, "Oh, it'll have to be something like the Beach Boys," and I said, "More like Pet Shop Boys."
Yeah, they ain't getting even the Beach Boys. That'd be pretty expensive too.
That would actually surface on. It would be expensive. So there you have it. There are our saviors, our saving graces, if you would like to say. But what do you think? Do you agree with us? Where can we find you, Brandon?
Just type in the search bar at Culture Papa, and you'll find me, and that'll be the channel where we have the Culture Council every week, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then you'll also find links to the other guys that are in the group with me, Tuna and Joe Benoli, and guests and things, always in the description of the show. So go over and check it out. Thank you.
Awesome. And what about you, Brendan? Where can we find you?
Well, we are on X, as you can see there, but obviously on YouTube, I'm very basic. The sense for Tuesdays at 4 p.m., we tend to do a classic on New Who review, and on Sundays at 7 p.m., we tend to do a big magazine show, which will mix topical debate with news and a bit of merchandise.
Absolutely.
With you two.
Yes, we are.
It's the best Doctor Who forum. I mean, I'm saying it. I'm not trying to speak for anybody, but it's the best Doctor Who discussion forum on YouTube. Period. I mean, I know we're fans of people that we think are bigger, but like for me, it's even not just because I'm involved, but I think it's the best. So go check it out.
please do go check out both of those channels. Well, that's it for this one. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel and, of course, their channels. And I will see you probably with some opinions about the new series. So see you very soon. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Bye,
See
guys.
ya.
Take care.
Bye.